Hey everyone, we're live with Godfather Grizz and another rousing show with Forever Oakland and We Stand with Oakland on Zinny 62 Daily Vlog on YouTube for Wednesday, August 2nd,
Yes.
2017. Just 2 days from the time that I turned, 55. I'm Zinny 62.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're getting younger, Zin.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hella hustle, rooted in Oakland. 13 viewers, 2 thumbs up already, and then we go to the watch page. Okay, say hello, Godfather.
Good evening to all our worldwide supporters.
Woohoo! Now I'm going to watch page real quick here and clicking on YouTube as I normally have to do when we are starting the live stream on YouTube Live Mobile, which for some particular reason I always want to say, there it is, live now. The notification in my face. The system is working. Okay, now I'm excited because the system is working. All right.
Wonderful.
Very wonderful. And you know what? The live stream is back, and my God, everybody's here. Hey, all. Woohoo! And there's the Godfather. And, hey, Kook Snipe. Hey, Steve Collins. Hey, Citron. Austin Obriga. Joseph True. Raider Flea. Everybody's here. Yeah, the people are in force here, man. What's going on, Mr. Flea? Raider Flea? The 66th mob is in massive effect. I think I can say that. Full massive effect. Godfather, tell us.
Yes, sir.
Take us back to, well, however far back you want to go, because a lot more has happened since I saw you on Saturday, and thank you very much again for a fantastic, and I might frankly add, life-changing experience for me. Much appreciated, and made me think a lot about things, and but I digress, which is a T-shirt idea. I have not forgot about.
Hey, hold on. Before we continue, myself, Chris Sabora, aka Raider Libra, Marty Guzman, took Denny to the Napa training facility for the first time in his life.
Yep.
To experience our 14th annual Distant Family Day.
Yep.
And our good friends from the Kern County Raider Booster Club, Paulo Campo and Teresa Raider Campo, took Denny on the practice field.
Yep.
During that wonderful day that we're going to get into the deeper, we saw some great alumni led by the great Jamato.
Yes.
Which is on the Facebook post.
Yes.
Promoting today. Zenny's in that picture. We came up with an idea for a new T-shirt for Zenny like lightning. Yeah. But I digress. Everybody loved it. So Zenny will be talking more about that sooner than later. We're excited, but I digress.
Oh, I like it. And Barry Lee says, tweet sent. Thank you very much, Barry Lee. And I want to thank Chris and his lovely fiance and myself for the ride. That was a lot of fun. And also the people I hadn't seen in a long time, like Ray Chester who and George Atkinson, who I go back to 1981 with. George Atkinson, in particular, knew, as well as Ted Qualick, Otis Sistrunk, who is a family friend of ours. We haven't seen in a long time, but I met Mr. Sistrunk in 1976 in our apartment.
Going back, baby. We won our first Super Bowl.
Yeah, in our apartment on Brookdale in Oakland, when I was not interested in football at all, to be candid, was interested in being intellectual, was heavy into Star Trek. He knew nothing about Star Trek or Lieutenant Uhura or Nikon cameras, did Mr. Sistrunk. But, you know, I found the book called The NFL's Encyclopedic History of Professional Football. He was in it, as were other great Raiders like Jim Otto and Darryl LaMonica and Ken Stabler. And that, combined with a back document on a diagram history of professional football, which kind of led to my then interest in civil engineering, another long story, got me hooked on football. And that's a very long story encapsulated.
And thank God it got you hooked on the Oakland Raider football.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was where it all started. I mean, But it was a reminder, and also a kind of a sad reminder of how deeply rooted the Raiders are in my Oakland history, because a lot of Raiders were involved in such events as the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame. For those of you who don't know, Oakland was once the center for something called the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame, and I met such greats as Woody Strode, who played pro ball, and a number of people. But the Raiders then were heavily involved, including the late Gene Upshaw. I can go on. I mean, so it was really a take me back, situation last Saturday for me. And again, thank you very much. Hey, so beyond me, and take me into the next day and the Monday and the Tuesday. What happened, man?
Well, hey, let's first touch base on one thing.
You got it.
To all of our viewers, we had the passing of one of our longest tenured 6'6" mobsters, a great soul, our family dog, Winston.
Wow.
So this show is in honor of Winston. He spent many years on Mob Valley. He met thousands and thousands of members of the Oakland Raider Nation who flew in from everywhere for years. Him and Tasha, they were a major part of our family. And so his soul may rest in peace. Last week started with his passing. And then we had 4 events in 5 days. It started with the JP meeting on Friday, July 28th. It followed up with the 14th annual Just Sit Family Day in Napa that we'll touch on, that Zenny was at, as well as the JP meeting. Then this past Monday, July 31st, and yesterday, August 1st, we had our back-to-back Game 3, Game 4 promo with the Oakland A's 50-50 fundraising. We took the first game. We didn't take the last game. The experience was awesome. So that's what we're going to cover. And since the crime vote that took place on Monday, March 27, 2017, the NFL's finest, and that's how we're called the NFL's finest, has hosted 10 events within this time frame. And we didn't really pay attention to that because our mindset has been to the grindstone. We're down. We're going full speed ahead. And the result is actually stronger than we've ever been. We've opened up doors with new entities. We're working with new entities right now. We've identified ourselves as a world-renowned grassroots organization. Tonight we're also going to discuss. We'll also discuss.
Grizz is sideways. We'll get him back.
Hold on.
All right.
There we go. All right. Sorry about that, folks.
Hey, that was quick. Whoa.
All right.
Quick recovery, man. That was good.
Hey.
That was
I
good.
didn't fumble the ball.
Yeah.
Technology sometimes. But we're going to discuss also tonight the launching of a new PR team that's representing Forever Oakland. We have these 2 gentlemen that are high positive energy, and they're great writers, they're great speakers, they're great at everything they do. So like any high energy organization, they have a PR team that deals with positive stuff, deals with slight negativity that comes and goes. They will be talking social media-wise. They'll be talking when TV cameras are in front of them. So we're going to discuss that as well. But yeah, let's start back at the JP meeting. On Friday, July 28th, we just want to remind everybody that the JP meeting that we were just at was discussion about an agenda item that Forever Oakland, We Stand With Oakland, got in front of the JP a month before. So for a lot of people, they're under the impression there was some vote that's supposed to take place. We never said that to the world. We never one time said there was going to be a vote. What we said is we finally have an agendized item for our municipalities to get up for discussion and get behind the citizen-driven initiative that's being led by our organization and by these community groups and friend groups in making Oakland better. And so Friday, we had that go on. We had great guest speakers. Zin was one of them. And the funny thing is the whole idea of that is now to get this body of people that represent the city and county on board with us. So this next meeting that we'll be getting a date for very soon for all of our supporters, that's when we have to have the Joint Powers Authority, which is this body of people that represent the city and county, approve our citizen-driven initiative. And once that happens, there'll be a city vote and a county vote. So that's what took place Friday. I thought that all of us that spoke did very well. We want to thank Zenny62, Ray Bobbitt. We want to thank our supporters from the 209 KOS. We want to thank Joey Seamus, a.k.a. Raider Maniac, coming all the way from Fresno. And the 209 KOS coming all the way from Modesto. And our locals, that gathered together as one and just made it a wonderful day for this step process. Zenny spoke very well. That went very well. So before we talk about Napa, Zenny, go ahead and give me your 2 cents about what you sensed about the JP meeting.
Well, I was one who, in fact, investors, there is an email that I just sent that is an explanation of a corrective in stadium economics. And basically, it goes all the way back to when I was an intern with the city of Oakland. First, my last year, just before my last year of grad school at Berkeley, my first year in employment out of Berkeley was as intern at the Oakland Redevelopment Agency, and it basically goes from there up. And it corrects an article that was written by somebody in North Carolina whose name I'm not going to mention, that's been lingering out there, and people had been bugging me about it, and I was going to ignore it. Finally, I decided to write something that would, in one big nuclear bomb swoop, refute it. I say that in the context of your question because many of the people that were in the JPA meeting go back that far with me. And
yes,
I think that, my read was, with the exception of what the county council said, we talked about this regarding litigation and financing. I thought it was a great meeting and a positive step forward. And I think once the JPA got the idea that public money wasn't being sought for or sought after, the prospect of support went up 60%. And so, in other words,
let me add to what you just said, sure, and I'll let you keep going. Executive Director Scott McKibben, he's both a friend to you and myself, did respond afterward and made it clear to me, and this is what we could reveal to the public. Our push that day made great progress in closed session after we spoke.
Hey, Chris Fry Lopez is here. I'm shocked. I'm sorry, I had to get
What's
that.
What's up, Chris? Hey.
And so's
Chris
Boss.
Fry, everybody that's in the chat, man.
Everybody.
Chris showed up for the DP meeting as well.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you, guys. We are embarked upon something very special, and that this high energy, positive energy of pushing forward is what's going to get things done. So, but yeah, I just want to remind people, Scott McKibben, Executive Director of the JPA, contacted me after the JPA meetings, in which I shared with you and your staff, and he made it clear that that push, those speakers, and what we did Friday had a positive effect on closed session. Closed session, folks, is when you have an agenda item and you speak about it, and then the municipalities go in a room by themselves to discuss it. That's not open to the public. Mm-hmm. So that's good stuff. And Scott McKibben, like I say, to his credit thus far, he's been very upfront with me. If there's something that we needed to know that wasn't good, I always tell Scott, hit me on the chin, tell me directly, because we need to know how to prepare for everything, good and bad. And so Scott gives me the good, he gives me the bad, but that response afterward was good, that it had a big impression, like you said, Zenny, 60% better on the municipalities. So that's a great step.
Right, absolutely. So we have a lot of people here. Rear Waiters here. Bouse is here, as I mentioned. Barry
What's up, boss man?
Barry Lee asked me a question about Reuben. The sad news is that Reuben passed away. Yeah, very sad news. So,
let's go ahead and stop right now. You know how Team Reuben was. This family, Reuben Contreras Sr., his mother Judith, their supporters David Cardenas, Vero Cardenas, and our core mob staff. You guys remember back in May, the month of May gathering we had, and the charity was toward Team Reuben, and we were very fortunate because life is short, to spend some quality time with this young man and his family in honor of him, because that's the way we are. We're very hands-on, we're very heartfelt. And his struggle, he's on the other side. Last week's passing is a reminder that he was an angel to all of us. The best thing I can say that can't appease the family, but we're all in this together. Our hearts are connected, and Reuben's impact and presence upon us reminds us we have to stay positive. We have to be grateful for what we have. Don't get caught up in negativity. Don't waste time in that kind of stuff because it's counterproductive.
Right.
And so, God bless you, Reuben. We know you're in a good place. Thank you for being a leader for us. Thank you for being an angel that descended upon planet Earth to show the rest of us that we need to keep being positive. We need to keep making this place a better place to be. Reach out to people in a good kind of way. So, Zenny, do you have any last words? And I think we should take a moment of silence to honor its own.
I think you said it all. Let's do it.
Let's take a few minutes, my people. Just take a few seconds.
All right. Yeah.
And just so everyone knows, Forever Oakland 60s Mob, our doors wide open to Reuben Sr., to Judith, the family, forever. So anything they need from us and or with this cause awareness, we're there 120%. I just wanted to share that with everybody.
You got it. Next, what's going on, man? Let's down the pipe.
Well, let's get back to just at Family Day. I mean, wow. I mean, we orchestrated that to perfection. It was great to have Chris and Melody come to town, spend the night at the Godfathers. And we were very lucky that Zenny was in the town. We picked up Zenny. We got there early. And for those who've been following us for years, this is our 14th annual. Just hit Family Day, just hits the turn because the players put on the pads. At some point, they start hitting. This is a 66 mob term we created. And the main table that is in the middle of the main lobby, that's the centerpiece of everything. We call that the Mob Alley in Napa when we come to town. We took over that main table in a positive way. When we actually got there, Zenny, Chris, Billy, and I pulled their supplies out. And sitting on that table, taking up halfway of it, were some of these former Oakland Raiders that Zenny was the kid in the candy store all day, getting video footage of everybody. It was just spectacular. So we set up that table, and the whole day was positive. I mean, our whole goal was to remind the world by doing that this is a pro-Oakland situation. Napa is pro-Oakland. Napa is Oakland Raider. We are forever Oakland. We have not stopped doing what we're doing since the vote. We've become stronger. And not one time during the day did any of us sense anything negative about our pro-Oakland presence. We have the general manager of Napa come up, say hi to our staff because we have a long-term relationship. We had employees of the Oakland Raiders come up, say hi to us because we have a long-term relationship. We had supporters come up from everywhere. It was unbelievable. And so the whole experience was great. We saw Jim Otto, the greatest forever Oakland Raider ever since 1960, my idol, my family member. We had the opportunity to introduce him to some other folks that haven't met him. That was the highlight for us. We saw, in my opinion, one of the greatest defensive players of all time, one of my favorite, Lester the Molester, Lester the Judge Hayes, came in toward the end.
Absolutely.
Paul and Teresa from Kern County Raider Booster Club supported us. Paul Fiera, Chris and Melody, all of our people coming from everywhere. It was just Thor, Melissa, a great experience. We wish all of you had the opportunity to be there. And just so you know, there's no tidbit about extra police being there. There's nothing negative about that. Those police officers, like everybody else, was watching us, smiling, because people got to remember, when we create an event, if it's the press conference at City Hall, if it's an event at Mob Valley, if it's a charity event, and or Napa, right when we show up, we bring positive energy. We say hi and bye to everybody, we meet and greet everybody, make everybody feel at peace, and this is the reason why we've grown the way we've grown, and this is the reason why these entities embrace us, because we're positive. There's nothing negative. Yeah. Being forever Oakland, positive. Being pro-Oakland is positive.
And I want to thank, first of all, Mr. Blackman for his investment just now, Paul Venegas for his investment just now, and Christopher Lighton for his investment just now. Thank you all very, very much. And you guys are really coming through, and it's much more than appreciated. More than appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you.
And continue investments, my people, because this type of show that Zenny does, and then when Zenny and the Godfather get together, we have such a unique offering of information that you're not going to get anywhere else. And we don't use that. We use that to share the wealth. We use that to share with our supporters. And that's the reason why people get involved in this worldwide, is because they feel our heart. They connect to us. And if they can't be present physically, they watch our social media on Facebook and Twitter. They watch the Zenny 62 show. And so that type of aura, we took to Napa, and it was just a wonderful experience. Great all around. Zenny had the first time experience it himself. We were there all day. He got in the practice field himself. And I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting us all the way, everyone that came to Napa. That was just truly, truly awesome. And we're glad that we showed up to have a forever presence.
Hey, how was Sunday night?
Sunday night?
Yeah. Sunday night you were at the A's game.
Sunday night?
All right.
Come again?
You were at the A's game Sunday night, right?
No. Sunday, the Godfather had a day of rest.
Oh, okay.
Because we had the A's game Monday and Tuesday back to back.
Monday night. Right. Monday night.
Oh, Monday. Let me tell you something. Monday was off the hook. Coop Snipe, if you're watching, Christopher Layton, your son, Joey Seamus, a.k.a. Oakland Maniac, who's got on the big screen at the A's game, and he won our section, and the next section, free bacon. The A's have a PR person that walks around the Coliseum all night, in between innings with a microphone. And Joey showed out. Coop Snipe was in it. There's prayer for Oakland everywhere. We just got done texting the chief of staff of the Oakland A's that deals with David Cabell. The whole experience was just positive. The tailgate was just positive. We just had so many people coming and going. Austin DeBrega showed up. Darlene showed up. It was just all around great. And this was our Game 3 promo of doing a 50-50 fundraiser before our phone. So we're having fun with working hard. That went well on Monday. The A's won that game. By mid-late game, we hit a grand slam, and then we continued to make some runs to win that game. Game 2, we did a duplicate of Game 1. We had a great experience at Coop's night and everyone that came out. We had a great turnout in terms of the sessions in Game 2 as well. Unfortunately, we didn't win that game, but the overall experience of the last 5 to 6 days and the back-to-back A's promo games are just spectacular. And it just goes to show, just like in Napa, just at the JPA meeting, here we have the Oakland A's, led by the new president, David Cabell, whose fingerprints is turning this whole organization around. He's bringing Oakland, he's bringing grassroots Oakland, he's bringing organizations Oakland to the games. He's supporting us like a lot of people are supporting us. These folks are giving out gifts almost every game. Here's one of them. We got this last night. The night before, we got T-shirts. And the Game 2 promo, we got Ricky Henderson jerseys, so they're turning everything around. That's why we're embracing them, and that's why David Cabell got the first of a kind, new yellow and green for Oakland as well, because he's truly honoring our Oakland presence. That's why we're working with him. So the last 5 days, let me tell you, folks, and this will be going off. Today was my first day back in the grind, working with you. The last 5 days have been spectacular. The last couple months have been spectacular, and we're excited about what took place, and we're going to be discussing now our 3-night, 4-day tailgate that kicks off the Oakland A's home opener the weekend of September 17th. We start the NFL's longest tailgate Thursday night, September 14th, and we're out there all weekend until Black Sunday, September 17th, with various different charities and making Oakland better. And in that event, anyone that comes in from all around the world comes to the largest NFL outdoor international venue, and you get to see a charity of your liking. You get to interact with the Godfather and all of our folks. We'll have our TVs, we'll have our music, we'll have the Beast, the big barbecue pit, and we utilize this first home game as the launching pad for helping a different charity all remaining home games. So the first home game, we have a bunch of charities. Then every other home game will specifically help a different charity throughout the season. So we're excited that we're getting the teeth of this right now. But yeah, here we are now, prime and ready, Zeddy.
Cool. I'm going to tweet this out real quick. And also, so Tuesday, you had what? The A's came back and they beat the Giants, as I recall, in the 8th inning? They took the lead and won, right?
On Monday, yes.
Yeah. And what was the turnout for that? 40,000 or something like that? I think it was really something.
Oh, it was like 39,000. But through our promo, we actually have a lot of people in our group. We saw some people who bought through our direct link promo to the left of us. We saw people who bought through our direct link to the right of us. We have people scattered everywhere. So our folks representing who can support us came deep both Monday and Tuesday. And we thank all of you because this is all going for the cause. We have one more Game 5 promo that will be for Saturday, September 23rd. And so we're going to be gearing up for something special, I think, with some youth programs for that last game. But Monday, Tuesday, back-to-back tailgates. The world don't know, but we did an overnight tailgate on Monday, Tuesday. It was unbelievable because we had to stay up again Tuesday. The community was incredible about it. It was really, really touching.
Hold that thought one more time. I'm just going to refresh the screen because I believe there's some comments that there are so many comments coming in at one point they were getting jammed up. And so, yeah. So now we've got the Barbers 1974. We said, it says, at A's home games, they do not do a 50-50 raffle, 50 for charity, whatever. And Tony Pilling, thank you very much for... Wow, another donation. This is investment, excuse me. This is, and I have some news coming up regarding that investment. Thank you. This is this is fantastic all the way around. Awesome.
And it's one more thing I want to add, and everybody, thank you for your investment and continued investment for the Zin 62 show. So out of all the stuff we've been doing, and our grassroots organization's been going for 19 years strong now, and we've evolved, we've learned. Our organization is built on doing an overnight tailgate and feeding homeless people all night long. That's how we started. And then we've evolved into helping several charities on home game weekends. Then we evolved to doing year round. So as a result of that, we like to look at other entities that have been successful. I love books. I love writing. I got some projects that I've been working on writing that will be finished up very soon that the world will know. But I like empire builders. I like reading about people who started with nothing, who didn't get an education, but they're self-taught, and they built an empire. And what those entities all have in common, number one, is they surround themselves with positive people, girls and guys. That's the mob is. Number two, they have people that take on different roles. Right now, we're getting big as a grassroots movement, so we have more staff taking roles that will be selling our items, because I wear many hats, but we're getting so busy. So we have people that are going to be selling our apparel. We have a new PR department that we've launched with two individuals, Joey Seamus, a.k.a. Reuben Maniac, and Levant Overlu. He's one of our guys who created the business letter. He's helped write grants for schools, home and yards, and we have great people. So these two gentlemen are perfectly fitted to put out positive PR for the mob, put out positive PR for Forever Oakland, and every so often, like you just did with the article, because you said some people have the wrong image about something, they're going to put out PR to deflect some negativity once in a while that comes their way. Because when you get big, you get a huge audience, and even when people say negative stuff, they're bringing the free publicity. So we're excited about that PR team. They're going to be doing that for us as well. But yeah, everybody in the chat, we want to thank you. And especially our inner core group that has made this all happen, because all of us have made this happen, and continue to please make these investments for the Zin 62 show. But we've got to get your shirt. But I digress. Make it as soon as possible, my friend.
Yeah, hey, let's also, I want to emphasize that whoever's doing PR, social media, we should all work together, because, and I don't know if there was a I would have loved to have pitched for it if it was something like a competition.
Well, no. Let me share with you.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have you be part of that.
Oh, cool.
Because you already do that.
Okay, thanks.
So when we got a show, we're going to put you in touch with the right folks, because all of our people are on the same page, and what the PR group's going to do is going to follow what we decide collectively as a group.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
okay.
Because some of us, like myself and my partner Ray Bob and some others, we're dealing with the number two antitrust lawyers in the United States.
Right.
We're dealing with our municipalities. That's what we're working on. We're still putting these events together. We're doing fundraising. We're dealing with the NFL. So we have a lot on our plate. And then we deal with our social media audience that we love dearly. And we have a strong social media. As a matter of fact, we have the strongest pro-Oakland presence on social media worldwide.
Yes.
So some of our PR people, and with your expertise, Sandy, we're going to connect all of you to become this strong PR team.
Awesome. Sounds great. Awesome. Hey, Joseph True has an interesting question. First of all, Josie Piling says, I salute the Godfather. And Joseph.
Hey, Joseph, this is for you. Look what Joseph gave us. This is new Chardonnay.
Hey,
so
wait a minute. I got to ask you your question, man. I got a question for you, okay? I want to hear what you thought of Saturday's gathering, because you've done it for 14 years. You had the table. You knew a lot of people that came by. it was an interesting dynamic. But I just want to, talk about that. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know where you were. I don't know if you're on the text or not, but Mark Davis, people kept asking me, did you talk to Mark Davis? Did you talk to Mark Davis? Let's clear things up real quick.
Yeah.
That with you, Zane, with our audience.
Oh, no. I know that. I knew what you meant. Right.
And you guys know the reason why people ask that question is because that's where we're at. That's our level. I mean, we have impacted and reached out to many people. I had a couple hours sit down with Mark Davis after the vote. I met up with Eric Reuben before the vote. So that's the respect level of the different white people, even though we're on complete opposite sides of this condition relocation, the respect's there. So to answer everyone's questions, as I speak to Mark Davis, Mark came in the lobby, and unlike this last year, he walked completely around us. He went to a seat. He went to a seat. But what all of our people were telling us after he sat down, they go, Riz, Mark is Simone Bouncer, who's a nice guy, are looking at you the whole time. They wonder what you're doing. And what we're doing is we're schmoozing the crowd. We're being ourselves. We're talking to everybody. Even his own employees are coming hugging and shaking hands. That right there showed the positive energy for Oakland. So the best way to answer your questions, and to me, I had a fantastic, inside my heart, positive experience with respect from everybody. And that's what matters to me. And that tells me that all the things we do are positive. So that's the best way I can describe how that experience.
Yeah, I even kidded with Bedane as he went by. I say, hey, it looked like you lost some weight. He says, nah, I just don't have a suit on. But
yeah, Mark Bedane said hi real quick.
Yeah.
And they kept on walking. And you said hi to him at one point when he was sitting by himself. He looked at us real quick. So, regardless of what we're doing professionally, and we're approaching professionally, we're still professionals, folks. And we'll go to any situation that we believe in to make our positive presence felt. And anyone that even thinks about trying to stand that way, then you need to step aside and you need to put your thoughts somewhere else because you're not going to stop us. We're full speed ahead. We're a train going west. You jump on the train, you go west with us. Mm-hmm. You don't jump on the train goes west without you. We have no time for drama. We have no time for negativity. We are a PR department that's been putting out positive stuff, and they will deal with any small little drama and negativity that comes along the way. So Napa, for all of you that weren't there or you have a perception, which I don't know what your perception was awesome. Oh, tell me your thoughts, Denny.
Joseph True asked a question. He says, what's the deal with a JPA member sleeping? Let me explain that. The video is out there, and Mr. True is referring to the legendary Oakland Council member Larry Reid, District 7, who is absolutely who's current president of the Oakland City Council. And I, knowing full well that Larry may see this, I'm going to say, first of all, Larry and I go way back. I may have told the story before. He basically got me the job to work for Elihu. In his current place, I think Larry is going through a lot. And for some particular reason, he has seen this effort as a threat to his power. And I think that's unfortunate because it isn't true. The normal position of a council member is to basically activate his or her constituents and encourage his or her constituents to take actions that are in the best interest of what that council member wants. You would think from that perspective, Larry would be 1,000% behind, and so therein lay the rub, okay? But one of Larry's concerns is politics and taxpayer dollars. I believe that once he realized that wasn't the case, okay, Larry perked up. But there's some political kind of edges that have to be smoothed, okay, and they're being smoothed over, and they have been. And I'll say that, first of all, some of them have to do with jurisdiction. They've been cleared up. They're being cleared up. But Joseph, you asked a direct question that deserves a direct answer.
And when Zay's done, I'll put my perspective as well.
Yeah. When this started initially, when Ray Bobbitt got involved, Ray's a class guy, stand-up gentleman, great friend, become a great friend. He did this. He put together that rally that you may have attended at the Hilton, but that was in Larry's district, and Larry claimed he didn't get word of it. Okay, that's a who shot John thing. Now,
well, I told Larry.
Yes.
So he didn't get invite from Ray Bobbitt directly.
See, that's and I'm glad you chimed in there, because Larry had expressed a different kind of misgiving to me. Larry has not completely gotten over that, and that this thing.
That's truly too bad. That's stuff that we don't need right now.
Right, and not only that, it's like when it was on television. So I'm giving you a 1,000% honest, read. I know it's some people don't like to hear that, but the lesson here for everybody is this, okay? And I'll encapsulate it with one example that has to do with our current president to show you how people in power think. Whenever you're in a position where you have to deal with somebody in power, all right? Donald Trump walked into a project when on The Apprentice, and the mistake the person that was setting it up, I think it was one of the celebrities that was against Arsenio Hall who wound up winning, was they didn't greet him when he got out of the car. They didn't service him, okay? And as ridiculous as that may sound, when you have somebody who has a title, you make that person, he or she, feel comfortable. One thing that everybody has to remember is that when people, I don't care who you are, me, it applies to Grizz, it applies to everybody. Everybody wants to be treated with respect, consummate with their title. That especially is true for politicians with a title. Some people don't like that, but look, that's called schmoozing, and that's called getting what you want. And particularly those of you here who are maybe 16 or 17, learn that. I know there people don't want to do that, and they say it's not important, but it does get you through life. Am I wrong, Grizz?
But I'm going to give you a different perspective when you're done, though.
Sure.
Yeah, I have a different twist. There's other people who weren't invited that didn't have the same reaction as Larry did. But when it's my turn, I'll go and speak. Go ahead, Zin.
Right, and I'm saying that, and Grizz is absolutely right. They didn't have that. But I'm explaining to you how Larry ticks, okay?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. That is how Larry ticks, and that's why Larry has been able to hold his position for a long time. That's why a number of politicians, like Jerry Brown, is the same way in his way. He was governor twice. I'll give you another example. John Burton, when he was California state senator, I went to a fundraiser for Kamala Harris, who may very well be at one point in our future our next president. And now she's our senator, okay? Replacing the great Baba Boxer, whose son I know, and I know Ms. Boxer as well, but I digress. I walked by Senator Burton, and I said, Senator Burton, how are you doing? And he told me to blank off, okay? And I froze, man. And I thought, whoa. I mean, people in power are a funny lot. You think, why do that? That's another long story. But that includes a number of people. And, that's what you have to deal with when you get them. People with titles who have power, that's how they react. And that's what we have to be ready for.
Yeah. Let me, is Joe T still there? Let me give my response to that day in Larry Reid.
Sure.
So then he pretty much covered a lot of he covered the truth, because then he goes back many years with some of these municipalities, and he knows Larry Reid very well, and he's seen a good side of Larry Reid as well. So we just want to make sure we put that out there.
Yeah. Myself
personally, Larry and I know each other very well. We go back since the Raiders. Larry and I go back since the Raiders moved back to Oakland. Larry is the longest tenured politician currently who's been the most involved with anything regarding the Raiders since they moved back in '95. So the mob had a movement in 2003, 2005 that yours truly created to help get a PSL system abolished that wasn't working, and it got abolished. So our relationship with the Raiders, the county and city, really took form at that time frame. That's when I started to get to know the nuts and bolts of who was most involved when the Raiders first moved back, what have you. Then, just the last 2 or 3 years, myself personally in our organization, I've been the closest connected to the current brain trust, led by Libby Schaff, led by Larry Reid, led by Claudia Capio, led by Mitchell Zeiss, the New York consultant who was hired on as an Oakland City advisor during the last 2 years of negotiations with the NFL and Oakland Raiders for a stadium deal here. So our conversations were nonstop, constantly. We were spiritually involved, almost like we're at the table, but we were technically at the table. So to discuss that real quick, in my opinion, and we're very professional, right now our approach to all the municipalities is this. This citizen-driven initiative, led by Fred Oakland, Grace Jones, and Ray Bobbitt, are the leaders with all of our core staff, clearly defined, and led by the two top 2 antitrust lawyers in the United States. Remember, people, these are the best. When you talk to Mark Bedane or you talk to even Libby Schaff, let me remind everybody, both those people are lawyers. They're different type of lawyers, but they're lawyers. Mark Bedane's an in-house lawyer. Libby she became a lawyer, actually. Now, when you talk to top 2 antitrust lawyers, everybody knows that Jimmy Quinn and Eric Hofstadt are the best. So that's who's behind us right now. And what we're offering, and this is going to be in reference to Larry, what we're offering now is a gift. The Citizen-Driven Initiative, which we made clear to all the municipalities leading up to Friday, is a first-of-a-kind gift that nobody could turn down, that protects the taxpayers from putting money. At some point, the municipalities have to come in with a little something to have teeth in this process. This is a win-win situation for the municipalities, for the $83 million bond debt that they have no plan for in the Coliseum, for any losses they may recoup for a team trying to go. This is a win-win for our culture to keep professional football here in Oakland, so we can keep those entry-level jobs for the community, as well as what means the most to us. We're just reminding everybody, it ain't about the money, it's about our identity. So this is why we brought these guys to the table. And just let me finish, though. So when that vote went down on March 27th, Larry Reid, along with our mayor, the first 2 guys who got on the road, because it's just a lot of baggage for them. Where we made clear the Citizen-Driven Initiative, the groundswell is bigger than ever has. So a lot of people around there right now, they're for this process. They are our biggest cheerleaders right now. So our suggestion to Larry that we talked behind the scenes is put aside your ego, put aside the baggage right now, because we're going to give this, because Larry, I don't even know if he's going to serve after November 2018. And right now the city has so many fires around them. They have violence problems. They have homeless problems. They have, just pothole problems in the street that these people that are supposed to represent these districts have needs that have been needed 10 to 50 years. And the system that's set up here that keeps electing these people needs to change so that everybody knows our movement right now, the Citizen-Driven Initiative, has different committees behind the scenes that the world's not aware of right now. We have a political committee. We have an NFL committee. We have a rally committee. We have a charity committee. All this is in the works right now. Is not only are we bringing a gift to our municipalities and our culture with the Citizen-Driven Initiative, we need to ultimately make Oakland better on a political level, on a business level, on a social level, as well as send a message to the world that the NFL can't keep bullying people around and keep having the habit of doing what they want to do and people just put in their heads. So we're going to set a precedent that's huge right now. So in reference to Larry Reid, we love you, man, but you got to get the program because it's a win-win situation. And whatever's in your mind that is not positive, that doesn't apply to our Citizen-Driven Initiative. And your fellow supporters around you understand as well. So we believe the groundswell around any minority politician, meaning minority, meaning the few percentage that are not for it, will hopefully take them in to be for, because this thing's going to go through.
Also, I got to get to some questions here. First of all, 411's repeated his or her questions. I don't know who the 411 is. Welcome to 411. It says they need to vote yes when it's a win-win for everyone. It makes no sense in having a meeting to agendize, for another meeting to schedule another meeting in the future, and then 411 follows up and says, what's the use of a meeting if there isn't any solutions being made by the powers that be?
Let me answer that real quick. And I'll let Zenny answer it. So 411, so you understand, it was just a month ago that this wasn't an agenda item. And I understand where you're coming from. Trust me. We got it as an agenda item. Anytime an item gets on the agenda for the first time, it has to be discussed.
Right.
So that's what took place Friday.
Right.
Like I said, there's this impulsive reaction, and trust me, trust Zenny, we understand how municipalities work. We understand they are slow with all issues, and we're bringing a new light to everybody, and we're moving full speed ahead. So that Friday JP meeting had to take place because everybody in the room now understands what was going on. Just so everyone knows, the last 30 days, myself directly with our two antitrust lawyers in the municipalities have been going back and forth, leading up to Friday to get it where it's at. Now, 4/11, that needs to take place. And normally when you first get a 10 item, it doesn't have a vote the first time. This next upcoming JPA meeting, this is when they need to approve it. Once they approve it, then the city and county have to go on it. So I agree with you. We don't need to have meeting after meeting, but this first one that you guys need to understand, because I'm in this process fully, understand the process that Zin item had to get to the agenda. That was fully discussed. We had great speakers like Zin. We are so fortunate that Scott McKibben, executive director of the JPA, who's behind us all the way, he opened this up on Friday with a bang, man. He brought the whole thing, and he made it easier for us to talk. Then Noah Gallo, council member of District 5, where I live in the Reuben district, he started off the segment with a huge speech. Then I got up, Ray Baba got up, Danny got up, many threw up behind us. And so I will remind you, folks, this was the first time that they spoke on the agenda item. They went to closed session. Now we got to remember, we're dealing with politicians that are slow to do anything. We know this. But when Scott McKibben contacted me after the closed session to say our push made a positive impact in closed session, so everyone knows now, the gate's down between now and this next meeting, which is coming up very soon. We'll get you the official date. That's when we're pushing for the JP to approve it. Because now they had every opportunity to absorb the details. They have every opportunity to realize we're putting them a gift. We're doing the footwork. We're doing the fundraising. We're organizing entities. We're the ones who brought in the top two antitrust lawyers. The city didn't do it. The county didn't do it. No other group did it. Mm-hmm. No one did it. We did. Mm-hmm. So our actions are fall in line with what Oakland's been doing forever. We're nonstop. We're stronger. So this next meeting, people, this is when the JPA will have to approve it. Then the meeting after that, because the JPA makes up of the city and county, there has to be a city vote immediately after the subject and the county vote. So we're almost there, but Friday's meeting, that needs to take place for discussion. Now we're fully up to speed. So the next one, the JPA has to approve it.
And some comments here. First of all, LX9933, welcome. Reuben Ortiz, nice to see you back. And, understand the
is that Reuben from the 209?
Reuben from 209, I believe it is. And Raider Hernandez, hey, it's great to meet you at the JPA meeting. By the way, did not miss that.
What's up, Pedro? What's going on, my man?
Donis Kin Yu and Tony Piling says Mark Davis has to feel the rumbling coming from Oakland. And Kin Yu says government works slow. Thanks for explaining the process. Donis says being slow is normal. That's democracy. Go Raiders.
Now, our politicians are just extra slow, but trust me, we're going to get them some Red Bull to get going. The Red Bull concept comes from Joey Simas, a.k.a. Real Maniac, part of our PR team. That's his concept with the politicians.
You can help me with this. Do you know the newest commissioner from Uber? Can you tell me anything about her? I haven't met her at all. She doesn't know me. I don't know her.
Actually, part of our business strategy, reaching out to pro-Oakland businesses right now, they're reaching out to Uber. So I'm getting some more information about that as well.
Okay. So there we go. We've got the new unknown there, kind of that commissioner. Kind of hard to tell. She's an attorney, by the way.
But just remember, the beauty of unknowns is you got to go for it. I mean, I know it's in this.
Well, we have no choice. We have no choice. Yeah.
If we keep growing as an organization, taking your past and learning from it is great. Taking the few things that do work, old school principles, internal, and then adding some of the new. So the mob's always open to new concepts, new ideas, but one thing we pride ourselves on is consistency, communication, and being hands-on, upfront. We don't believe in any negativity.
Yep.
We don't believe in drama. Let me define that. We all have problems in life.
Right.
I deal with a group of people. Mm-hmm. Each one of them have a different ego. Each one of them have different work schedules. Each one of them have different family schedules. So sometimes some of them can attend a meeting or event. Sometimes they can't. But we're all collectively together. And this is why I'm referencing Larry Reid. Just because you were invited to an event, Larry, there was no ill intent there.
Right.
There was other politicians
good night,
who were
Barry.
not invited to that event.
Good night, Barry. Just saying you real quick. Good night, Barry. And thanks to the Cooper. Go on. Keep going.
Hey, Barry, thank you.
Yeah.
Just so your viewers know, it's one of the things done positively. As long as you have a clear communication, being butthurt, then if you have a problem with someone, you go talk to them directly right away. You don't carry that over. You don't go talk about that behind other people's backs. That's counterproductive. I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care if you're a part of a charity. I don't care if you're part of a business. The best way to do business is communicate clearly your feelings with people directly, because the people directly probably not even thinking that. They don't know what you're thinking, and they don't have negative thoughts towards you. That's how you get stuff done. That's how the mob rolls. So if you're in charge of a bunch of people, and you're responsible for a lot of people, which I have become, and some cult leaders, you have to communicate with people and have compassion and understanding that everybody has a different lifestyle. And as long as their heart's in the right place, then it always works out. Sometimes someone loses a job. Sometimes someone loses a dog. Sometimes, unfortunately for Reuben, he passed away. That's life. Those are obstacles we have to deal with. That's not negativity and drama. Negativity and drama is when people's butthurt feelings run them instead of them putting it in its place and being an adult about things. That goes to Larry Reid. That goes to any haters that may try to create negativity toward our organization that don't talk to us directly. It's the same kind of thing. And to my man Larry, remember, there were other politicians who were invited to that event that Ray Bob put up, not because Ray had no ill intent. He's one of the community groups there. Ray's one of the most positive. Ray's my spiritual partner. So all of our people out there that haven't met Ray Bobbitt, when you think of Ray Bobbitt, you think of Grizz Jones. When you think of Grizz, you think of Ray Bobbitt. We're in such a different stratosphere right now, dealing with all these things. We're not into negativity. We're really not. We're not into what she said, he said. So go ahead, Zenny.
Henry Flores asked a question. He said that it was more a statement and observation. He observed that in my interviews. He said that most of the players I interviewed seem to be pro-Vegas for business reasons. Let me explain that, Henry. It went down like this. Okay, first of all, the alums that I talked to were resigned to accept what they believe the future is. But my style on camera is not to challenge people generally. A forum is one thing. I do it within a forum, but when I'm interviewing somebody on a video on demand, that is their position, period. Okay, or if I'm interviewing them and you can see that with anything that I've done, like for example, Megan Friels Johnston in the ice cream truck, her new movie, that is their position. And I say that because in Miss Friels Johnston's example, I wrote something that was my position or opinion of her flick, but I didn't want my position to impact upon her interview. My point is, when I interview somebody, that's their platform, and that's what they said. Now, I did notice a pattern. When I talk to people off camera, like George Atkinson, who did not want to talk on camera because at the time we were at the bar and he didn't want to be seen in that situation. So, and I honor George as a friend and mentor, all right? We go back to, you realize that George Atkinson and I were Raiderette judges? But anyway, the whole point is that we go back to, oh yeah, true story. But George said to me, the party line, which he didn't realize was the party line until I gave him the alternative, and there was a lot that he didn't know. And there's a lot of people, you have to remember, they're former players who, in a lot of different ways.
Some of these guys that Zin is referring to still get fed by the Raiders.
Yeah.
They get the Raiders pay by the hotels.
Right.
If you remember, we were in the lobby toward the end. All the Raider organization and former Raiders went to rooms, got dressed really nice.
Yep.
And the Raiders got 4 buses from them to go do something. I don't know if it was wine tasting dinner. So a lot of these people, and I don't agree with it, the former Raiders who didn't speak out about being pro-Oakland, it's sad that people that wore that logo and that group that didn't even know, they're the ones that created that game, have not stepped up more to the plate to get behind this process. But I will say this to my people. And for me, see, I'm not in a position, I'm not compromised. The Raiders don't pay me anything. The politicians don't pay me anything. I go by what I've done here. We have several work relationships here in this community. I'm not just a fan that has a section in the Oakland Coliseum that gets loud. We're a whole community-driven organization. So a lot of these Raider folks, unfortunately, they're under the Raiders' guys. They get paid by them, which I don't agree with. And the beauty of who we are is even those guys deep inside, if this whole process doesn't go the way that the Raiders and NFL wants it, they're going to be out plotting us as well. So you guys know.
Something else too. I want to defend the players here because in a lot of situations, particularly, I'll give you an example. This revelation regarding CTE and bad financial investments. When we talk about this, is something that is really, I feel, and I go back to how the NFL basically came to my rescue and said, hey, look, the city of Oakland didn't treat you correctly, but let us know what we can do for you. I mean, by contrast, after I pitched the Super Bowl, Robert Bob was by my side. Bill Claggett, the economic development director, had $80,000 parked to finance my sports commission, which I created from scratch that no one said I could do or get approval to do. Jerry Brown came along and said get rid of him, basically because I had accused Jerry of being racist, okay? And I still stand by that. My point is, now, but, and Jerry had a chance to talk with me about it. I thought it was resolved, and it wasn't. And I say all that to say this, okay? Those players they're taking a position where some of them had bad investments, they needed loans, and quite literally their last lifeline was the Raiders. So I understand their position. I don't begrudge them that. I mean, I know a lot of stories that I'm not even going to get into about players that received help from either Mark Davis or his dad, Al, and they are wildly loyal to him for that reason. So I understand their position. That's why I say it's...
They're wildly loyal to Al Davis. Al Davis took care of these people.
Yeah.
And so some of them feel a sense of... You got to remember, some of these players used to tease Mark. They used to tape Mark up in the locker room. Mark was never really part of that aura. So their loyalties to Al. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you this. Their families, their friends, with what we're striving to do right now, if all goes the way that we need it to go, they're going to be happier than they were moving. I'll leave it at that.
Hey, Kook Snipe, we'll see you, and it was great to see you as well. And T. Cooper asked a great question, says, has anyone gotten a hold or reached out to Stephen Ross for an investment in the movement? Grizz, you know the answer to that question?
I know that no one's reached out to Stephen Ross for an investment.
The Dolphins owner, yeah.
We do know that Stephen Ross is aware of what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And we got to remember, he's an NFL owner. Right. So he spoke against NFL owners. But he had to decide where he fits in because there's a work relationship with these folks.
Right. Hey,
so you remember, anyone that has work relations with people, they have to keep work relationships. That's why we're in a position. And the groundswell behind us, we can do what we want. We're not in the box. That's right. Hey, we have to defend our identity. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tweet this out real quick, and just as you talk, so keep sharing your ideas. I want to make sure that I'm not. Sure. What happens when I tweet?
If you're off the bed, man, thank you, my man. You, Christopher, myself, Joey, all of our culture. This past weekend was spectacular. I can't thank everybody enough, and we're just getting started. We're just in August right now, so keep doing what we're doing, folks. And remember, we have all these committees that we're forming right now. Mm-hmm. We have open doors for people to serve on those committees because this is people power driven, and this is the first time potentially in history that a people power driven entity is going to get as far as we're going to get.
That's right.
That's because of all of you out there coming from the heart, not just talking about it on social media, but doing everything you can and pushing aside any negativity. Push aside any drama, because that's what drives us. It's all of you and this positive energy and how we've connected that's driving this thing. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Hey, so we've got Maniac just joined us. Maniac, how are you? And Big Eightful's here.
Which Maniac is that? There's two Maniacs.
That's a great question. Maniac? That's a great question. Maniac 5900, because I didn't realize there were two. There are two Maniacs. Yeah. I didn't learn that until last weekend. There are two Maniacs. Well, yeah.
Yes. Well, there's the Radio Maniac. That's a forever open correspondent who's part of organization, who's part of this new PR team we put together.
And
that's who our Radio Maniac is.
You can't see these numbers, but there are 52 people watching now, Grizz. So,
hey, all 52 of you.
Yeah.
That's good. And they're watching you too, Zane.
Hey, man.
Hey, I just want to tell you guys, thank you, man.
You got it.
Hey,
absolutely.
I think the reason why people gravitate toward us when we do this, but we have a lot of hands-on events, is because of the energy.
Yeah.
When when we have grandparents, which we had a gentleman named Lauren, you remember meeting him with the iPad, a season ticket holder since 1963.
I've interviewed him
when he
twice.
walked in that lobby in Napa,
twice.
When he walked in that lobby, he got to meet all the film Raiders that he grew up watching, man. To him, it was like, they're all his age. I watched them. He was like a kid. So this is the impact we have on many generations, and the new era is forever Oakland.
Yep, that's right. Definitely forever Oakland. Hey, so give us a picture for the future. We still have the Zin Burger to do, and which I want to share, and I want to share revenue with you on that one. I want to, because you guys have been great to me.
The revenue go to your investment. I just want to have one of those burgers for starters.
I want to have one too. Hey, folks, for those of you who are 52 of you now who are unaware of what I'm talking about, the gentleman, what was his name? Marcellus.
He owns a restaurant in Berkeley, and we're working out some details to where the Godfather, with some of our staff, are going to go to his location, as long as he has a strong internet connection, and to have it as Zenny 62 show there, and highlight the first of a kind Zenny 62 Raider Burger.
And I can't wait for this.
Zenny and Marcellus, they're going to work out the details and proceeds and all that, but we're setting it up as we speak, and more likely we'll have that done in August.
The Zenny 62 Burger is 2 all-beef patties, okay? It is a half-pounder, all right? It has red bell peppers, sauteed onions, and barbecue sauce, and lettuce, okay? I mean, does that make your mouth water? I mean...
when I got when I got from the first night, and then I've been lucky, we've been eating good barbecue the last few days.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And I eat my vegetables, I eat my fruit, but you know what, we got to throw, I'm going to me a burger because of this right now.
Yeah, hey. Now, Brad Brugman asks, hi, Godfather, is it still possible that Mayor Schaaf will come to the table if Mark Davis screws up in Vegas or the relationship is broken? And T. Cooper says, that sounds good as hell, Zenny talking about the burger. And Joseph True says, I'm still hungry for the Zenny Burger. I'm still hungry, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm making myself hungry.
Joseph, Tor Cooper, Coop Snipe, any of our locals, we're going to plan this show at Marcellus's restaurant in Berkeley. And we do want to have a group of us who don't work at night. We know some people work at night. Mm-hmm. But we'll have a group of us go there, order the burger, shoot Zenny himself, promote like crazy.
Live stream. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, speaking of live stream, I want to take a special shout out. I did it before, but it was a very late night to announce my debt of gratitude to Michelle Cancelier, YouTube partner, channel representative for me, who moved heaven and earth, along with YouTube policy director Gregory Brigham and Ben Berta, YouTube support head, to bring my live stream back much faster than I thought. Because originally, when they made that mistake, this is, the wording is like, 3 months, and then you all were saying, it's going to be 3 months, and I'm like, no, it's not going to be 3 months. We're back. So I want to thank YouTube for valuing what you all have done in making this a valuable live stream.
Yes.
That says a lot for it. Thank you. So I want to say thanks to
YouTube. That's one of, and Vinny, just the fact that that's happening, the fact that you have more investments coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're very deserving. I can say this: your life purpose and what you've offered this planet and this community since you've been involved with politics here since the 70s and 80s is phenomenal.
Thank you.
And you're such a uniquely different perspective, and we've merged. Forever Oakland yourself, you're part of our family, we're part of you, and your PR that you've been doing for years, I'll introduce you to the Raider Maniac directly, as well as to Levant, the gentleman that created our business letter who helped write grants for schools. The emergence is even stronger. I want to go back to the question some gentleman asked about Libby Schaaf, Mark Davis. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Okay. So to answer that question, let's keep in mind to your viewers, the next election coming up for mayorship is November 2018. And so right now, I guarantee there are others that are vying for that position. There are people in this community who are so fed up with the mayorship, with the city council, with the county. There's a movement going on, a groundswell. And like I said, we have committees behind the scenes doing different entities to not only have the citizen-driven initiative with our identity, because the identity is beyond football. It's jobs. It's making this community better. And having pro sports here, just like a couple weeks ago when some unfortunate person shot an AK-47 right by my house.
Wow.
Those things are going to happen. But when you have your Oakland Raiders identity and you have pro sports and you have municipalities that are looking out for your community, that lower things down. So our whole movement right now is not only to alter the situation in the NFL, but it's also to get the right people in power, because we want to make sure we lay a foundation for a future, and this needs to change now. So in terms of where Mary Schaaf's going to be or where Mark Davis is going to be, all I know is we're presenting the gift. That's going to be a win-win for everybody, and we believe everybody's going to have to concede to our gift.
Hey, Brad says, I think Mark Davis broke off all communication with Mayor Schaaf. Let me tell you something. That never happens. You have to remember something here, folks. The Raiders are playing here for the next 2 years at least. So no one in their right mind, be it Mark Davis or Mark Bedang, would break off all contact with the mayor's office, because they may turn around and Libby may be reelected and they still have to deal with it. Anything can happen, okay? So no one is that stupid. I'm just letting you know.
Well, that's true. And just so everyone knows, understand the process. The Oakland Raiders, just like I call the Oakland Warriors right now, the Oakland Raiders, their business deals with the JPA.
Right. The
JPA, the Joint Powers Authority, the ones that we're working with right now for the Citizen Driven Initiative, they're the politicians that are in charge of the Coliseum Authority. They're in charge of the land. They're in charge of business agreements. They're in charge of licensing. So that's the entity that the Oakland Raiders are dealing with to play here the next 2 years at least. And if that alters that they play longer, as through this entity that we deal with the most, obviously any mayor of any town, you want them to hang their hat up and to show that pride and get behind what we're doing. We're just reminding people, we're not knocking people, but we're reminding people this citizen-driven initiative is being taken control by the people. And we're reminding how the U.S. Constitution was created, that the people are the power. And for whatever reason, for many years, people get caught up with their jobs, they get caught up with lives. The government at large, which could be a whole other conversation, wants us to be so consumed by our lives so they can do things that takes the power away from the people. We're altering that process through this citizen-driven initiative. We're not only going to set a tone that pro sports needs to stay here in Oakland, professional football, and the identity, Oakland Raiders identity, because that Oakland Raiders identity was created here, and it reflective of how we live. We're going to set a tone that this location in the United States is people power driven, and the people are going to take that power back. So regardless of Mark Davis talked to Libby or Libby talked to Mark Davis, it's the JPA that sets up these dealings with the Raiders. That's who we deal with directly. And regardless of Mayor Libby Schaaf or new mayor that takes over in November 2018, your group of people led by Forever Oakland and the citizen-driven initiative is going to make sure that things get done right between our politicians and pro Oakland sports. Guarantee you that.
There was someone asked me, or asked us rather, on the question. I think it was Hennessy or somebody said that they asked the question what the economic impact of the Raiders leaving would be. Well, that's fairly easy. First of all, if you assume that the stadium is going to be privately owned and financed as was the plan, first of all, since that's money that, in terms of value, adds to the tax base from a property tax perspective, you have to take that total value of, let's say, $1.4 billion. So first of all, we lose that $1.4 billion from that stadium, okay? Because the stadium was supposed to be owned by the Raiders in its initial configuration. Forget for the moment, the details or what the mayor didn't understand and all that. That was the idea, all right? So that's $1.4 billion. Then you consider that since the Raiders returned in '95 to present, my estimate is that they gave over $1.3 billion in free advertising to the city. Now, what do I mean by that? It means I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. When I hear Oakland Raiders, I hear Oakland. I don't hear any other city. I hear Oakland. That makes people at some point in their daily lives ask, what's Oakland all about? And it makes them at least curious to find out about Oakland. That's lost, okay? Then let's consider the Super Bowl, all right? I can tell you that specifically the city would lose in itself $200 million in revenue from a Super Bowl. Most of that comes from hotel revenue, but also when you form your Super Bowl plan, I came up with the first Super Bowl city concept. I came up with a concept that was the forerunner to the Super Bowl cities that you see today. What was it called? Jack London's NFL Playland. Gov Grizzly roped off Jack London Square, and with a large kind of fence structure with an entry, $30 per head, and I calculated enough money. We were going to go after big event performers like the Rolling Stones for the Super Bowl performing right there. Similarly, when the Super Bowl was in San Francisco, they had Ellie Gould for the NFL kickoff. They had Train. They had all these big players. I think Imagine Dragons came through. So that revenue that San Francisco enjoyed, which is almost near $1 billion. I mean, remember, 1 million people visited Super Bowl City in San Francisco. If that's done in Oakland, that's what Oakland loses out on. So it's a lot of money.
Another thing, too, with Zenny, when I was a kid when the Raiders moved, and I was fully aware of that move, I was very fortunate that I was born into an Oakland Raider family. So from day one, it was mandatory to watch Oakland Raider football on Sundays and/or we go to the games. That's just the way we grew up. So when they moved, I don't have the exact statistics, but I have a core group of people that have better statistics than me. Mm-hmm. We talked about how the crime rate and the crack rate went through the roof. Wow. And how thievery and murders and everything. So that shows you how vital keeping your identity, not pro sports, but your identity intact. And it's not just for Oakland, but it's for the Alameda County region, as well as people need to realize the dog in Northern California, the heart of Northern California is Oakland. That's where you get your best artists, you get your creativity, that's where you have blue-collar workers or hardworking folks. It's Oakland, California. And so that's how the Jim Ottos and the Tom Flores and all our former Raiders and even members of the Black Panthers and members of the Hells Angels, they come up creating that identity that we have taken to the next step. That identity serves so many purposes and means the world to us, like the Green Bay Packers mean the Green Bay, like the Pittsburgh Steelers mean the Pittsburgh, like the New York Yankees mean the New York.
Yep.
Same concept. And I guarantee you, for all those pro-Yankee people in New York, all those pro-Steelers people in Pittsburgh, all the pro-Green Bay Packers, they wouldn't be having this. So they too have worldwide followings. They do have a percentage of fans as important everywhere else, but the core wouldn't be having this because they understand it's an identity thing. Oakland Raider identity is maybe the strongest worldwide in that class. Mm-hmm. And coming from me, I can say this because I have work relationships with businesses here. I have work relationships with charities here. We are the most driven, hands-on, well-known community group / fan group in Oakland. Yep. It's not just charity, it's fans. And we have the biggest pro-Oakland following worldwide. Forever Oakland, but pro-Oakland supporters is international.
Almost 60
international.
Almost 60 viewers, Godfather. We have Steely Blues says all season ticket holders should cut those pathetic loyalty and family pins in half and send them back to Davis Raider headquarters. That's what I'm doing. Wow. And
there's been so many reactions. Go ahead, Zenny.
Wow, that's fascinating. And then we have, I believe it was someone else, Heiselberg. I am Heisenberg. Is that from Breaking Bad? Whatever. Interesting comments here as we go through. And go Raiders! Thank you for attending. And John Marks had asked a question. I believe it was in terms of timeline. We'll be through this by the end of the year. Your thoughts, Grizz?
Be through what by the end of the year? The current citizen-driven initiative?
Yeah, that's what John's question is.
Right now, to answer your question, John, we're at a certain phase that started on June 12th. Mm-hmm. We got to remember, people, the top two, and I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to anyone outside of us who don't, who support us, don't support us. The top 2 antitrust lawyers wouldn't fly to Oakland to waste the time. Remember, these guys are the best.
Hey,
They came here.
Just a quick break. Hey, we just jumped by 10 in 2 seconds. I want to welcome everybody to Forever Oakland Show. Godfather Grizz on. Thank you very much. Please stick around. Godfather's in the middle of answering a question. Actually, we're jumping quite dramatically. And first of all, Godfather, continue and re-explain what you were talking about, because we had a gigantic jump in new people, and I just want to welcome them. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah, and then as I talk, so everyone knows, we're always open to taking a pit stop, doing a PR break to acknowledge our supporters. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back to what we're saying in general, to answer your question, this phase we're in, our timeline is to have this next step process done over the next 60 days or so or less.
Mm-hmm.
So this phase that we're in, and just remember, this process can become a process. It can take some time. We don't have a set time frame because it identifies itself as it goes. But once we hit this next step, there's going to be a lot of people involved, a lot more media involved, and it's going to give our two antitrust lawyers the ability to do what they do best, to get this thing altered. So this current process, we say maybe next 30, 60 days, we'll have to have this current phase done.
John Mark says, I like what you're doing, Godfather. And ML Scott, thank you very much for the investment. God bless you again. And I am Heiselberg says, Oakland to Vegas is a drive, but the loyal diehards will take the 6-hour drive to see the Raider play. I disagree with that because of the cost issue. In fact, we don't know.
Well, I disagree too. There's always going to be some diehards. I just mentioned Pittsburgh, Green Bay, New York, and Oakland.
Right.
Okay? There's always going to be a following. It's not going to be the same. Look what happens to the San Francisco 49ers. That team has 5 rings, and they couldn't put a stadium deal together in San Francisco. They had to go 30 miles south to Santa Clara, and look what happened to their hearts.
Yep.
People need to realize, people don't understand what's really going on behind the scenes with this Vegas thing. A lot of this is NFL-driven to land in Vegas. They don't care about the Raider image here in Oakland. And what you guys don't understand is they're going to destroy, if it gets to that point, that whole Raider image of what got you guys involved here is going to be no more. You can go support it. You can go take it 3 miles away. You can go to the casinos and go party. The whole thing's going to change. That's why it's not just us not supporting Mark Davis, because he should never have been an Oakland Raiders owner, just so you guys know. So we don't follow something like that. But the whole Oakland Raider identity thing that all of you, especially new generations that don't understand that became Oakland Raider, is because where the roots are. This ain't whatever the wind blows Raiders. You guys can understand that. That doesn't have heart. This is the Oakland Autumn Wind Raiders that was born here in 1960 with my grandparents, my parents, all these various community groups that have something so uniquely different than no one else has. And when you pick that up, they tried that once in LA, and it didn't work. And we have a lot of wonderful pro-Oakland people in LA as well. I have family everywhere. But it didn't work because the blue-collar heart is right here. You can't keep picking up, going somewhere. The Oakland Raiders have no business in Las Vegas. It ain't going to work successfully.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Henry Flores says, Zinni, last April Fools, you made a profound argument regarding eminent domain. Have you passed down all your knowledge to the Godfather in order to pass this on to Jim Quinn? Well, actually, I've talked to Jim about that before he started working with Grizz. This is like months before. In fact, I was supposed to have Jim on this show to talk about that very thing, not even knowing that,
I want to clear up real quick because I have a client privilege relationship with our two entered. Right. This isn't an eminent domain thing.
No, it's not. It's not. But
ideally, to get the same results through antitrust.
Right.
That's all I can tell you right now.
But the thing is, it's a good question because on an earlier show before this show started, I did mention that Jim Quinn was going to come on and talk about antitrust in the NFL. But again, that was months before. And you have to remember something. Well, actually, you don't know this. Jim Quinn and I have a mutual friend named Jeffrey Kessler. And this goes back to when I represented L.U. Harris, and one of my responsibilities as economic advisor was compliance. What do I mean? Well, for example, I had to watch the Raiders like a hawk and determine whether or not they were talking against the master lease agreement, which they actually did do on October of 1996. So, I mean, I've been in the thick of it. When Amy Trask wrote what I thought was, to be frank with you, and I love Amy, but I'm just being honest, a grammatically poorly written letter that I didn't interpret it to say that Raiders were leaving, but Dina McClain, then the new executive director for the JPA and attorney, did. They filed a lawsuit against the Raiders that we eventually lost in 2006 to the Raiders, because the Raiders claimed that, and I want you to pay attention to this, Grizz, because my prediction is if the Las Vegas thing goes through with its bad economics, this is going to be history repeating, because the Raiders accused the city of Oakland, and really, if you dig down specifically, it was Ezra Rapport as assistant city manager, of, quote, misleading, unquote, the Raiders into expecting ticket sellouts, all right? Even though the Raiders had given the responsibility of tickets to the city of Oakland. This time, now consider this. The responsibility of selling tickets is actually, if you take a look at it, in the hands to a degree of the stadium authority with the Raiders, all right? If things go bad, the Raiders could turn around and accuse Las Vegas and the NFL of goading them into taking that deal in much the same way they accused us and the NFL of bullying the Raiders into moving from LA to Oakland. All right? So keep that in mind. This is messy. This is really, really messy. And it's going to get messier as time goes on. My prediction, watch.
Well, just so everything you just said, which we're very appreciative because we got some good knowledge. We, Forever Oakland, Ray Bobbitt, we stand with Oakland, this community initiative. We're not on the messy side of things. We're on the clean side of things, thank God.
Right.
here's the beautiful thing. We believe, it sounds crazy, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. We believe we're on a mission from God. And we carry the light. And when you're a light bearer, though, it doesn't mean it's always peaceful.
Right.
When you're a light bearer, you have to fight for what's right. You have to stand up and do it, not just talk about it. We're actually in motion, folks. I mean, our organization, the 56 Mob, but...
And I want to emphasize, I'm talking about, when I say messy, the Vegas situation, all right? And please understand, folks, this is somebody that, I mean, look, you ever heard the term you can't see the forest for the trees, all right? I mean, basically, I know every tree in the forest, okay? So, and I know how old the trees are. I know how to measure their bark. That's how deep I am. And so I'm explaining from looking at the Vegas perspective, that forest, if you will, has a number of pits and sinkholes that are going to open up at some point. And this is way dicey a situation for the Silver and Black, this direction that they're taking. And again, I'm still puzzled why they're doing it. And I have to believe at some point they believe that they're being as much pushed to do it as they want to do it. And at some point, this is going to come. This is going to come to a head. And I think it's to our advantage to look at this from that perspective. What is going on with Ray Bobbitt and Godfather Grizz is the positive side of this story, which I believe, can save the Raiders in this situation if the Raiders look at it that way. I'm very serious as a person who knows this better than 99% of the people that are alive today. All right? Because the Raiders went on a tear. They sued everybody after the PSL sales went south. They sued Ed DeSilva. They sued the city of Oakland. They turned around and sued the NFL for $1 billion. They lost that lawsuit. They spent $33 million on lawsuits because they were so pissed off that things didn't go right. And so just letting you know, okay, what happened in the past, and sometimes you're not aware of the past, you're doomed to repeat it. This is Raiders deal number 2.
Well, and I'm glad, and thank you. And once again, I can say this from our organization, Zenny. We are so fortunate that you have come to our life with all your dealings in the past.
Thank you.
And this is what's happening with us right now is we're positive and we're strongly driven. And we make mistakes as we go, and we learn as we go. But our mistakes isn't hurting people. Our mistakes isn't trying to do damage to others. Our mistakes is just learning as we go and then we deal with something and go, oh, we could do it better next time. So that's what we're doing. But in the process of this glow, this aura getting bigger, we're attracting more and more of the right people. Hence, we came, and Zenny and the mob have merged, and we have more of the right people coming in our aura and merging to bring justice, to bring healing, and to ultimately get what we all deserve, which is keeping professional Oakland football here for a lifetime, for the future generations in this new era, forever Oakland football, and all the positive things that come with it, with our community, with our charities, everything. Mm-hmm. So this is the reason why myself, Ray Bobbitt, the 66 Mob, which is the core of it all, and these other groups who are doing what we're doing, we're lighting a fire under many people right now.
Yep. And
we're going to keep lighting that fire until we've accomplished our goal.
Hey, Grizz, how you doing on time? Because we could talk all night long. Well, I can't, but...
you know, we've gone for an hour and a half, which is great. You got me for 15 more minutes, my man.
Okay, how about 10?
10's fine, because this is our show after that 4 events in 5 days, and you go in Napa. It's just, we could be nonstop. At 10 more minutes, I'm good for that, yes.
You got it, cool. Now, take us through what happened. Hey, have you had a chance to talk to Dave Cavall?
Him and his chief of staff and I been exchanged the last 2 days. David Cavall and his chief of staff just got back from the Boston Baseball Hall of Fame. So they just got in right before the Beta Page series. They just want to say thank you, not just for this promo, but how we represent this community. We were touched. And so we reminded them, we're in this for a lifetime. We're in this for the long haul. This is a marathon. And we want to remind you, Dave, that your fingerprints upon the Oakland A's is touching the community, not just baseball fans, because you're showing a commitment to our community and all these charities. I mean, these guys, they're like the mob. I don't care if you're a baseball fan or you're really like the Oakland A's. If you guys that support us knew the inner workings of what this David Cavall's doing right now, you'd be impressed. You'd say, I'm not an A's fan, but I support him. They were bringing in charities. They're bringing our local taco trucks. A lot of us, when we're out all night, 12 midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. in the morning, and these taco trucks are throughout all of East Oakland. These entities are coming in front of a food court. I mean, they named the baseball field after one of the greatest Oakland A's ever, the greatest food outfitter, Ricky Harrison. They're putting their touch. This is what's buying us. And in conjunction with Dave Cavall, the Oakland Raiders could be doing the same thing right now. If they did this here, remember, Oakland Raiders is #1 in Oakland. The identity comes first. I'm a forever Oakland Raider for life. This is why I got involved with this outside of feeding homeless people. That's where it started for us, that identity. The Oakland Raiders could be benefiting from this so much with this community being in the Bay Area with 514 companies. There's so much money here with one of the highest media markets, the best transportation, and we would do everything for them. So what David Cavall is doing, since he just came in late last year, is he's bringing an Oakland touch, the same way Oakland does, the same way we've been preaching to Oakland Raiders. I have worked relationships with the upper management for years saying, hey, be hands-on with the family, be hands-on with the community, and you'll get everything. So to answer that question, yeah, man, David Cavall and us, we're in communication. We're supporting them all the way for the Oakland touch. It is spectacular.
I want to end or come close to him by saying that personally I like Mark Davis, and I believe that this is a large effort that's been driven by Jerry Jones, who, according to ESPN article,
and Robert Kraft.
Yeah, and thank you. And who, according to ESPN article, made a rollicking presentation about why Vegas would work. And also, remember, Jerry Jones has had a great relationship with Las Vegas Sands founder and CEO Sheldon Adelson for years. And I mean years. And also something else too, that so if this comes to a point, and I believe it will, where this deal doesn't work out, Mark will have someone to blame in the form of the Jerry Jones ran portion of the NFL. Mr. Davis, Mark Davis, is to me a very kind person who's trying to find his way, who didn't want to lose a team. I believe that he was faced with a threat by NFL owners and brass saying, hey, look, you have a number of problems where your franchise is not pulling up its weight in terms of value, and if you don't make, quote, these changes, unquote, by X time, we are going to change ownership for you. Hence, he brought in Reggie McKenzie. Hence, the improvement of the personnel management decisions. Hence, the reduction in the dead money contracts. And then Jerry Jones, who was, you want to know how good a friend Jerry Jones was? Let me tell you how good. Let me tell you how good a friend Jerry Jones is to Al Davis. Beth Schnitzer. You don't know this part though. Beth Schnitzer and I, okay, first Super Bowl in 2000. We're royal. We went around. We had cocktails. We were, I was a guest of the NFL. We walked into their suite unannounced. Security guard let us in. There's Mr. Davis sitting there, arm in arm. That's all I'll say. There's Jerry Jones right over here. Okay, they share a suite. They shared a suite at every Super Bowl, and that was, folks, and I say this in capital letters, the party suite. Okay, that was the party suite. So Jerry Jones feels a personal obligation toward the legacy of Al Davis. And that's what That's why we should be trying to keep them in Oakland. I agree.
And I disagree with you on one thing.
I agree with
Jerry
you.
Jones, yeah. So here's the problem, folks. And this is what we're trying to let you know. I was at the NFL owner meeting. I heard directly on why the Oakland Raiders are playing in Mexico City again, because Robert Kraft asked Mark, hey, would you like to play my Patriots? Mark shook his hand, and Robert said, why don't you be the home team? And Mark has given himself up too much.
Yes.
The NFL League want to land in Vegas to create something that's not Oakland Raider. They want to create a Jerry world. Jerry is connected to this Legend Suites where he's been making a lot of money off of everybody. So it doesn't excuse what Mark Davis is doing.
Oh, no.
I have to disagree with you.
Sets up
Mark is a nice man to me.
It sets up a lawsuit.
Yeah.
It sets up a giant lawsuit. Yeah. That's what it does.
But so this is the problem with Mark Davis, guys. He should never been an owner. Because if you're a pro-Oakland owner, and if you're Jerry Jones that honors the Al Davis legacy, you fight to keep him in Oakland.
Right.
And the fact that they're going to try to take this team from Mark Davis, because Mark is nice to me. Regardless if I disagree with Mark, I'll tell our viewers, I'm going to let you guys know, I already shared with Mark Davis, not out of hate, but reality, he should have never been a Oakland Raider owner. He doesn't represent us the wisest way because he don't know the culture. He's disconnected. But I said it to him friendly, like he speaks to me friendly, and all the things he offered me to go down to Vegas. He did it as a nice gesture. He wasn't trying to bribe me. I told him, no. I said, I can't be compromised, and you should have hired me on a couple years ago to get a deal done here. So regardless of everything you said that's truthful, Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, and the NFL League, they're the most responsible, along with Mark Davis, of this crime.
And I'm pointing,
that's in front of us, and I'll finish, that we're going to have to justify because the whole thing is a crime. Go ahead.
And I'm pointing out that when this deal fails, and it will structurally, okay, Mark Davis is going to have someone to sue. And it's going to be Jerry Jones in the NFL. Watch.
If Mark Davis has the balls to do it, but one thing Mark knows is Fred Oakland has balls, baby. So if you have to come back to Oakland, and you already know,
absolutely,
we got the best guys.
But Grizz, that's why I say Mark Davis' best hope is to side with Forever Oakland. We stand with Oakland. That's the best hope for the organization. Okay?
Here's the thing, too, and I can reveal a little information. When I had my sit down with Mark Davis, he was very cordial. He loves Monica and me. He loves the mob. His dad loved me. I mean, we have a long-term relationship. That's not even questioned. And then I know you're not questioning it. So that's why that won't change regardless of where I'm on opposite sides of things. But what I told Mark was, I said, Mark, I sincerely believe that the Jerry Joneses, the Robert Krafts, and the NFL League don't care about you. They're going to take you. They're going to take this organization that you're allowing, though. It's because you're the owner.
Yep.
It's his responsibility. You can't just blame all these other guys. I could blame some other people for trying to pull me out of Oakland. But if I allow it to happen, I'm responsible. They're not responsible, but I'm responsible. So what happened to Mark Davis, everyone knows, his soul has been parasited. It's been taken over by others. That's why he's not He's not geared to guide us right now.
Wait,
so he's responsible.
Are you saying he's like the Borg on Star Trek? You know, the Borg took over Jean-Luc Picard?
Mark isn't running himself with this whole process. The NFL elite are for their own greedy purposes. That's the crime. And Mark's responsible for allowing it to happen. Because if he had anything with Al Davis in him, we would be getting the deal done right here. But I just reminded Mark, these people don't care about you. Your people here, regardless of how they tease you or they make comments or what have you, you're king here. People love you here. So because you've done what you're doing right now, people think you're a disgraced liar. People lost respect for you because you're the one that can have the decision to say no. So we just want to make sure that everybody understands all the pieces of the puzzle here. It's all connected, and understand that the citizen-driven initiative has identified the whole thing to make sure that the light stays here in Oakland. Go ahead, Zinni. I know we're getting off pretty quick here.
Oh yeah, we'll have to close it, but and that's gonna have to be the last word right there. You got the last word.
Man, Zinni, thank you for everything. We had a great weekend.
And thank you everybody for the investments. It was more than I expected. Thank you all so very much.
It's positive karma, man. And then, hey, on the next show, we'll be talking about when we set up an event at Marcellus's Cafe in Berkeley for the Zin Burger.
Thank you all. Hey, see you guys. I'll talk to you.
May the mob be strong. Keep the fort in Zenny 62, please. God bless you all. Stay from Oakland.
Thank you. I'll see you. Talk to you soon. Thanks.